My name is Angela.
And my name is Nicole.
And welcome to the Ominous Stitch podcast. Hello, Stitchers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Episode 3.
Episode 3. We're still doing it, people.
This is exciting.
I so look forward to sitting down and recording with Nicole. This is my favorite thing to do.
This is my favorite thing to do.
Oh, how cute are we?
I love it. All right, Angela.
Yes.
What has you in stitches?
Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to get real and talk about some parental anxieties that I have here.
Which I'm sure we all do.
Okay. So my oldest child got invited to a pool party.
Fun.
With some of her friends. Now her friend group, they're all boys.
Okay.
So she's the only girl in this friend group.
Hey, I think that's amazing.
It is amazing. But because of that, because the boys are usually off doing a lot of boy things and the parents are all boy parents, we don't really hang out with them that much.
Okay.
So it's been a good couple years because of COVID and all that stuff since I've seen the parents. And so I don't really know them that well.
Sure.
And so I had a lot of anxiety going into this to re-meet the parents, and I haven't seen them for a couple years.
Anxiety.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're going to talk about this, and hopefully some of you guys can relate to this.
I can.
So we go to the pool party, and my daughter's in the pool with all of her buddies. They're all having fun, so I'm left to hang out with the parents. Now,
Which is already awkward for me.
it's so awkward.
I'd
for
rather
me.
hang out with the kids.
I am the most awkward. I feel like I'm the most awkward parent. I know I'm going to say and do things that are just weird because that's me.
Yes.
I
That's me too.
either overshare
Yes.
and talk about things that,
That's me.
yeah, I overshare, or I just clam up and don't say anything.
That's not me.
Oh, that's so me. I'm just like, and I just kind of laugh and smile. And I'm like, I have no idea what to say. I'm not good at starting conversations. It's just an awkward situation. But I was like, I'm going to do this. And my daughter gave me a mission to make sure that I connected with all of the parents. And as she put it, become their best friends so that we can have lots more play dates with all of her buddies.
So many best friends that are parents that you have no idea who they are. That's amazing too.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's how it works with adults, is that suddenly you become best friends.
Just like kids.
Just like kids, let's go play. No.
They don't understand the anxieties we have when we grow up and get older and we don't want to talk to anybody.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
tough.
So we're at the pool party and I'm actually doing well for me. I'm having good conversations. We're laughing. I'm connecting with some of the parents and they're interesting and they're fun and they're good conversationalists. And yes, most of them know each other and have spent a lot of time together. And I'm kind of the new one in the group. Even though their boys have been talking about my kid a lot and they all, oh, you're her mom. Okay.
They
we
know who you are.
Yes, they know who I am. I'm like, oh, good. And all the kids know me.
What do you know about me?
I know, exactly. And all the kids know me because I've gone in and volunteered in their classroom.
Sure.
Oh, an awkward thing that happened at the pool party. You guys know that I'm a voice teacher and I teach singing. And one of the things that I did is I went into my daughter's classroom and I taught them all songs. They were learning about the colonial times. And so I taught them some colonial songs. So one of the boys at the pool party was like, can you sing for us?
Oh, gosh.
Just in front of all of the parents.
At the pool party.
At the pool party. I was like, oh, you want me to sing at the pool party? Okay.
No.
I kind of dodged the bullet, but it was.
They want you to put on a performance.
I know. I was sweating. I sidestepped that awkward moment there.
Good job.
And I was doing well until the parents decided they wanted to take a group photo.
Okay.
And so all of the kids are gathered together with like pizza and ice cream and they're all taking a photo. And I look over to my right and I see a kid sitting there who looks like one of the kids in the friend group. He had the same like coloring, the same hairstyle, the same haircut, and he was eating something. He was kind of turned away, so I didn't really get a good look at his face, but I thought it was him.
Sure.
And so I said, I'm going to make up a name here. So I said, hey Tyler, go get in the picture. So the issue with this, there's two parts to it. Number one, that kid's name, even though this is the fake made up name, isn't Tyler.
Oh no.
His name was never Tyler. His name was something else. Wrong name for the kid that I was calling. mistake number one. Mistake number two, the kid that I thought that I was calling was already in the picture. It wasn't even the right kid.
No.
It was somebody else's kid that didn't belong in the friend group that was also at the pool. And he just turned and looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked over at the picture, and, you know, the Tim kid was there in the picture, and I was like, oh,
Did the parents hear you and everything?
Everybody heard me going, hey, Tyler, get in the photo.
Whoops.
Yeah. So that was
mean, that's you know what though, that I know you probably have high anxiety about it, but I'm sure we all do that as parents. We like we said in our last episodes, we call our kids the wrong names constantly.
Yes.
How are we supposed to keep track of kids that look exactly the same? I don't know anybody in my kids' classes except maybe 2 people.
Yeah.
And I don't know names, so I think you're off the hook
I know.
on that one.
Well, I hope so, but it wound up being okay. And I think that was my only major faux pas. I'm sure I made other ones and I just didn't realize it because I can be that oblivious to things.
No one called you out on anything.
Nobody called me out on anything else. We got through the pool party.
You did it. You made it.
It's exhausting meeting parents.
I was going to say, though, I'm sure after all that's said and done, you're so tired from everything.
I'm still tired.
Wrangling kids, talking to parents.
Yes.
That and alone is exhausting.
Yes.
So good job, Mama.
Thank you.
You did it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you guys ever meet me out in the real world, you'll see how awkward I am.
Unless
I will
you know
be
her.
awkward with you.
But we're here.
We're here.
And we're making a podcast, so it's not like you're that awkward.
Well, I can talk to people that I can't see
That's
if
true.
they're not in front of my face. Same thing. I can perform in front of people. That's fine.
Yeah.
I can get up and speak and teach in front of hundreds of people. I can perform in front of thousands of people.
But intimately,
one-on-one is where I get awkward.
you get scared.
Yeah. It's a wonder that I even found somebody to marry me because it's so awkward. So what has you in stitches this week, Nicole?
I just want to tell our podcast audience a couple things. The first episode,
we have some corrections we want to make.
Not even corrections. I just wanted to point some things out okay, so first of all, we are brand new at this. So we are very sorry if mic levels and sound is not the most perfect, as you hear me like it's not perfect, and we'll get better, we promise, but hang in there. We're so happy to have you. Okay, so first of all, we're not professionals. We'll get better at it, though, we promise. Second, my astrology friends out there, I was mentioning how
she's so cute, guys. She's been so worried about this.
I don't know why. That's me. I pick up on the little things, and then they eat away at my brain, and I can't stop thinking. We are both air signs.
Yes.
And I said Angela keeps me grounded, which she does. But as you can tell with our podcast, we're air signs, and we're so bubbly, and we go from conversation to conversation.
We're flying
so
all over the place, guys.
Especially with extra coffee. But she does keep me grounded in a sense that she's awesome, and that friend. I don't know. There's a lot of things that she makes me feel better about myself.
Oh my gosh, you're just making me blush over here.
So
you're so sweet.
Astrology, we are both air signs. Second, I'm so sorry if I was so lethargic last episode.
You guys, she was sick. She's such a trooper.
I was on the verge of a stress cold because work is insane, and
this is her busy time.
This is my very, very busy time, and it hit me. So I am over it. I'm sure you can hear me this episode. I have so much more energy.
Back to her bubbly self.
Back to me, feeling 100%. I've got my coffee, and we're good to go. And I'm very excited about this episode. But we are ready for our next crochet pattern.
Is it time to get stitching?
It's time. Let's
get stitching. Okay, guys, we are back with our crochet project for today. So keeping in the nature theme, today we're going to learn a stitch called the feather stitch. Now, I took it really easy on Nicole last week and gave her the moss stitch.
The easiest stitch.
Yeah, she was so confident.
I was so happy.
I'm going to mess her up this week.
No!
We're going to learn the feather stitch.
But it looks cool.
Yes, it looks so cool. The feather stitch actually works up quite large, so you're not going to do the normal 30. I think I did 28 instead of 30 to get it to gauge because it does puff up quite a bit. And actually that's what it is. It's kind of like a spread out puff stitch. So you guys will see what I mean as we get going on this feather stitch. So I found this feather stitch in a book, A Modern Guide to Textured Crochet by Lee Sartori. I think that's how you say her name. And she has just a lot of really cool inventive stitches in here that I'm having fun learning and playing with. And you can find her on Instagram at coco.crochet.lee and YouTube Coco Crochet Lee. And then she also has a blog, cococrochetlee.com. So you can find her on those places and see these stitches as well. But I'm going to teach Nicole how to do the feather stitch. So this stitch is best worked in multiples of 2 plus 1. So like I said, instead of doing 30 to get to gauge, because it does puff up quite a bit, I did 28 to get to gauge plus 1, so 29.
And what kind of yarn are you using? Are you using a similar yarn?
Red Heart, baby.
Oh, yes.
That's what I use. I have a ton of it.
Red Heart, you should sponsor us.
Exactly. I have a ton of Red Heart, so I use Red Heart, sticking with my size 6J hook. Okay, so I went ahead and set Nicole up. So I'm going to tell you what the setup is, guys. And you can jump over to our YouTube channel. You will see my lovely little pink nails setting this up. Yes, I finally got my mani done. So you guys will see the first, I don't even know how many stitches are going to be with these beautiful pink nails. I'll promise I'll try to keep them interesting and change out the color. I like my nails pretty simple.
I don't promise my nails looking great at all, guys.
I will try to keep them looking great.
Good job, Angela.
Okay, so you're going to start with a multiple of chain 2. So like I said, 28. So you're going to do 28, and then you're going to half double crochet into the second chain from the hook.
What's a half double crochet?
So a half double crochet, you set it up like you're going to do a double crochet. So you yarn over, and then you insert your hook into the stitch that you're going into, and then you're going to pull up a loop through. So you'll have 3 loops on your hook.
Oh, okay.
And then you pull through all 3 loops.
All at once?
Yes, all at once. So you aren't doing 2 and then
Yes.
yarn over and 2 again. You're setting it up like a double. So you yarn over, pull through a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So that's a half double crochet. You're going to half double crochet in the second stitch from the hook all the way back. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. That chain 1 will not count as your first stitch. So you will always half double crochet in that first stitch.
And that will be the first one.
Yes.
So half
double crochet. So now we're on row 2. You're going to half double crochet, chain 1, skip the next stitch underneath it, and then half double crochet and chain 1 all the way across. So it's kind of like the moss stitch where we were single crocheting, chain 1, skip, single crochet, chain 1, skip. This is a half double crochet, chain 1, skip.
Got it.
And you do that all the way down.
Got it.
Okay, now we're set up for row 3. So when you get all the way down, half double crochet in the last half double crochet, then you're going to chain 1. Now I'm handing it over to Nicole because now she's going to do the feather stitch.
Again, if I can do this,
this
you
is
can too.
Yes, and this is where it's going to benefit you to jump over to our YouTube channel, the Ominous Stitch podcast on YouTube, and watch me do this live, because speaking it is going to get might get a little confusing.
Yes.
Okay, so she's looking at what I have right now.
Okay.
So she's going to half double crochet in that first
one right here.
stitch,
Okay.
that very first stitch. So half double crochet.
Okay.
There you go. And chain 1. Good. And now we're going to start our first feather. So she's going to see the first chain space there. She's going to yarn over. There you go. And now go through that first chain space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then she's going to have how many loops on your hook? 3 loops. 3 loops on your hook.
3 loops.
Okay, good. Then you're going to yarn over again. You're going to dive down into the stitch below. So see that stitch below the chain?
To the left of it, kind of.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're going to dive down there,
You got it.
yarn over,
Okay.
pull up a loop.
So I have 5 on my chain.
You have 5.
Cool. Okay.
Good. Then you're going to yarn over again,
Oh my gosh.
and you're going to go into the next chain
Got it.
space.
Right here.
Yep.
Big space. Okay.
Yarn over and pull through.
Okay.
Now you have 7 loops on your hook.
Holy smokes. Okay.
You can stretch them out and keep them nice and loose.
Okay.
That's fine. That's just going to make a more feathery stitch.
Got it.
Then you're going to yarn over
Again?
and pull through all 7 loops.
Holy smokes.
So she's going slowly. Sometimes it gets snagged. Yes, you can. Sometimes it gets snagged, but you can always pull out and do it over again.
That's what she said.
Yes.
I did it.
You did it. Awesome. Okay, so that's a feather stitch.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
That's a huge one. Okay.
So you're going to chain 1.
Okay.
Okay, and now you're just going to do a feather stitch again. So you're going to go back into that chain space right there that you just finished.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to yarn over. And then, enter that chain space, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yep. So now you have 3 loops. You're going to yarn over, dive down underneath the chain space into the stitch below it.
That's what I did.
Yep.
Okay.
Yarn over and go into that stitch below the next chain space.
Pull in.
Pull up a loop. She's doing it.
Okay.
There you go. And
Got it.
then the chain space above that one, you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Now you have 7 loops on your hook again.
7. Okay.
Yarn over and pull through all 7.
Hey, I can do this. Yeah, that's a lot of
The
it's
tortoise
just a
wins
lot of
the race.
loops to go through. I see.
It's a lot of loops. So you want to keep them loose
Yeah.
on your hook so that it's easier to pull
I
through.
got it.
And then it just makes a more feathery
I
stitch.
see it. And then
And then
do
it's
a
going to
chain.
puff up chain.
Okay.
And then that's what you're doing all the
Hey,
way
that's
across.
not so bad. I got this.
Yeah. So you're going to keep
Okay,
doing that
so
all the way
chain,
across.
I do a chain. I do
Yeah.
a chain down here and a chain up here.
I like the
I
song.
gotta sing while I do this. And then I've got 5, and then a chain
Let me
again,
go there.
and a chain, and I've got 7. There's a lot of 7. Okay.
Try to keep it loose.
Oh,
so that,
see, I can't do it. I'm so tight.
yeah. So here's a tip. So to keep it from being tight,
Yeah.
when you yarn over and pull up, just pull it up tall so that that loop becomes nice and large. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't want to be tight close to your work as you're doing this.
Yeah, I get it.
So she's going to keep going all the way across here. And when you get to the end, you'll have a half double crochet at the end. So you're going to half double crochet in that last stitch.
The last stitch is a half double.
Yes.
Okay.
The last stitch is a half double.
Okay.
And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. And then you're going to half double crochet into that 1 stitch again.
Okay.
Chain 1. And then you're going to feather
Turn
your
backward.
way across.
Cool.
So you're always half double crocheting in the first and in the last.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, this is once you get the hang of this, it's pretty cool. You just kind of it's the pattern, but it is the matter of remembering those half doubles at the end, I think is the big
Yes, when I was practicing this, I kept forgetting that, and and so it was a pretty wonky pattern. I was like, oh no,
What
this isn't going to
happened?
work.
Okay.
But then when I went back and read the pattern, I was like, oh, I'm forgetting the half double crochets. The half double crochets at the beginning and the end of your work is what's going to keep it nice and square and straight.
makes
So you want to
sense.
make sure that you don't forget those.
Yes.
You begin with a half double crochet, and you always end with a half double crochet, and then you feather your way across.
I love it.
And this looks really cool if you use a nice light thin yarn as well, because then it gets really feathery. So the thicker yarns are fun too, because you get a really puffy thick texture. So that's better for like a winter blanket. But if you want to make a nice feathery light kind of a shawl, use a really light thin yarn.
Oh, that would be pretty.
Yeah, and it makes a really cool pattern, and it looks really good with variegated yarn. So she has an example in the book.
What's variegated yarn?
Variegated means it changes color.
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm showing Nicole the picture she has right here.
I like that.
It's a color changing
It's
yarn.
like ombre almost.
Yeah, it's like an ombre yarn. It looks really pretty.
is.
So that's the feather stitch.
Easy. Well,
Yeah.
not easy like the moss, but I got a hold of this. I figured this out. and
Yeah, she's going.
got
I'm so proud of you. She's gaining so much
thanks,
confidence.
teacher.
So much more than just the shell stitch. She's doing so good.
Okay.
Yay.
I am at the end of this though, right?
Let me see. You can do one more.
One more. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. I
One.
did it. I did it.
There you go.
Yay!
That's the feather. She did it, guys. All right. So is it story time?
Everybody, it's ominous story time.
Ominous story time.
Today's ominous story.
Yes.
We are going to cover a little bit of missing person cases within Yosemite National Park.
Ooh, Yosemite. I love Yosemite.
I do too. I want to go as often as you do. You go up a lot more often than I would.
Yep. Well, we live in California.
Yes.
That's no secret. We've talked about that before. And it's just really close. If you haven't gone to Yosemite, it's a national park for a reason, guys. It's just gorgeous
It's
to
beautiful.
go there.
I've only been once. That was 8 years ago. 8 years
You
ago.
need to go again.
We do. We will. Once my kids are a little older, I think they can handle it. We'll go again.
Yeah. We have, I think, 2 more trips this summer that we're going to Yosemite. So I'm excited and anxious to hear what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Because that might color my, how well I do camping there.
Well, I'm going to cover 4 missing person cases that are a little odd. And then we're going to go into one ghost story.
Ooh.
But first, as always, I'm going to go over the geography of Yosemite just to
Yes.
give you a picture of what it is. And then I'm going to go into a brief history, which I promise ties into the ominous, missing, kind of cursed area of Yosemite.
Okay.
All right. But Yosemite is 1,200 square miles, has many deep valleys, grand meadows, giant sequoias, and best known for its waterfalls within central California.
Yes.
Yosemite was the nation's 3rd national park, and it's made of granite rock formations. Famous ones are El Capitan.
El Capitan. Last time we were there, somebody was climbing El Capitan.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. They looked like this tiny little dot
on
this massive rock face. It was really hard to see the
That reminds
person.
me of the documentaries of the rock climbing. Have you seen those of the rock climber?
No.
Oh, you got to
I've heard about them, but yeah, I need to watch them.
It's crazy. So El Capitan and Half Dome. Which
Half Dome, yes.
Everybody's seen photos of that,
Yes.
I think. But there are more than 400 animal species in Yosemite, and it draws more than 4 million visitors from around the world.
Yes, it is always crowded. It's definitely worth it, but it is always crowded.
It is crowded. Well,
Yes.
you can find hiking places where you
There-
feel alone.
Yeah, there are pockets where nobody is there.
And
so
I
that's
like that.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Its highest waterfall is Yosemite Falls that plummets 2,425. All right, that's just the brief geography. Now, history, I'm going to be citing a few things here, but this is from the Awanichis, a story of the Yosemite Indians, written in 1966 by John W. Bingaman. Okay. So the legend goes that the Valley of Awani was inhabited by the tribe of the Awanichis. They believed the Great Spirit had led them from their original home in the far distant west. But then wars and pestilence nearly wiped out the tribe. The valley was believed to be under a curse, and few survivors fled.
That's ominous.
Very ominous. But one of the noble youth of the tribe married a maiden of the Monos tribe. I'm sorry if I butcher some of these terms. I'm terrible. I tried.
You guys, let me tell you, Nicole tries so hard to make sure that she gets all of this right. She's constantly listening to Google Translate. Like,
Always.
am I saying this right? Am I saying this right?
Yes.
I love it. It's so cute.
And you all are welcome to correct me afterwards, please. That'd be fine. I wouldn't mind that at all. All right. Yeah, he married a maiden, and a son named Tenaya was born.
Tenaya.
Does
Oh,
that sound
yes.
familiar?
Yes, there's a lodge, Tenaya Lodge.
Exactly.
Yes.
When he became a man, he gathered together the remnants of the tribe, and they returned with him to the valley of Awani. Now, there are different references to where the term Yosemite came from, but from Bingaman's tale, Tenaya reported that there was a young brave going to the lake of the sleeping water to spear fish, but was met by a monster grizzly bear, and a terrific battle ensued, from which the young Native American emerged victorious through badly wounded.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't tussle with a grizzly and expect to get out of there.
Oh, no, ever.
No,
Kinda
never.
Isn't it? There's the rules with the bears, right?
Yes.
Go ahead. You know them.
So the rules with the bears, you always want to be big and yell at the bears and try to scare them away. The brown bears especially. Brown bears will usually run away. Grizzlies don't care. Grizzlies don't care. Yes, grizzly bear don't care. So, I mean, you can always yell and scream at them, and they will choose to either come after you anyway, or they will choose to not care and just do whatever it is that they're doing, but they will get you. So we have a rule in our family. This is kind of, I don't know, but if ever you're close enough to a bear, that, you know, your best bet is just to reach out and tickle them, because
you don't want to crawl up into a ball.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can curl up in a ball,
enough.
But if you're that close to the bear, he's going to get you. So you might as well, you know, tickle him. Have a little fun.
I think it's like a T-Rex. I would just not move. Be like, nope, can't see me, right?
If I don't move, you can't see me.
Yep, I'm a stick. No. And then there's the rule with the polar bears. It won't even matter, because polar bears will come and eat you no matter what.
Yeah. Polar bears are even bigger grizzlies. So they don't,
They don't even care. They need the food, so they'll come after you no matter what. And you can't run from them.
No.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a seal at that point.
Yeah.
So this young brave emerged out of that kind of crazy tussle.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Go Tenaya.
Yeah. So after this, the young chief was called Yosemite, or the large grizzly bear, and finally the name came to be applied to the whole tribe.
Oh, amazing.
That's one.
I didn't know any of that.
The other claim, though, is that Yosemite originally referred to the Indian tribe that lived in Yosemite Valley, and Yosemite means literally those who kill, which was used by the surrounding Miwok tribes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a little bit more scary there.
Not very peaceful.
No, not
those
at all.
who kill.
Nope. So yeah, there's two theories of where Yosemite came from. But in the early 1850s, the white settlers decided to remove the Awanichis to a reservation near Fresno and sent a battalion of men to operate this deportation. So needless to say, the Awanichis did not want to leave their valley.
Well, of course not. I wouldn't want to leave there either. It's
a
gorgeous.
beautiful place. That's their home.
It's very bountiful and just amazing.
But yeah, it's a sad story of across America, right?
Yeah.
There followed a number of evasions and negotiations and even escapes. Months passed, and when a second battalion under a Captain John Bowling entered the valley to resume the deportation effort, the confrontation turned violent. Several young Indians were captured, and one was shot while trying to escape.
No.
This young man was one of Chief Tenaya's favorite sons.
Oh. Don't mess with the bear killer.
No.
Oh.
When the old chief was informed, he was enraged, and during a confrontation with Captain Bowling, expressed that anger in laying a curse on the white man. And this is quoted from Elizabeth Godfrey's Yosemite Indians.
Okay.
Kill me, Sir Captain. Yes, kill me, as you killed my son, as you would kill my people if they were to come to you. You would kill all my race if you had the power. You have made me sorrowful, my life dark. You killed the child of my heart. Why not kill the father? You may kill me, Sir Captain, but you shall not live in peace. I will follow in your footsteps. I will not leave my home, but be with the spirits among the rocks, the waterfalls, in the rivers, and in the wind. Wheresoever you go, I will be with you. You will not see me, but you will fear the spirit of the old chief and grow cold.
Oh.
Curse.
That is an excellent curse.
Curse upon you.
Oh, I feel that. I would do that too. Mm-hmm. I'm such a mama bear. So if anybody came around anybody that I loved, especially my children, I would I would do that exact same thing. 100%.
I agree with you. So moving on, the Valley of the Awani, or mouth, because the valley walls resemble a gaping bear's mouth, was changed to Yosemite by Dr. L.H. Bunnell of the Mariposa Battalion in 1851. Mr. Bunnell named the valley in honor of the tribe that they were about to capture and drive out of their home.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? There's a big quote. Let me read his quote. His quote, "As I did not take a fancy to any of the names proposed, I remarked that an American name would be the most appropriate. That I could not see any necessity for going to a foreign country for a name for American scenery, the grandest that had ever yet been looked upon. That it would be better to give it an Indian name than to import a strange and inexpressive one. That the name of the tribe who had occupied it would be more appropriate than any I had heard suggested. I then proposed that we give the valley the name of Yosemite, as it was suggestive, euphonious, and certainly American, that by so doing the name of the tribe of Indians which we met leaving their homes in this valley, perhaps never to return, would be perpetuated." and then it was unanimously adopted.
Okay.
So, and it was common practice for Europeans in the 18th century to either ignore American Indian place and rename it, or with Yosemite, use an American Indian word to place name.
Yeah. Okay. So many feelings about this that this is not, that will be a whole other podcast to go into. All the feelings and the thoughts associated with how problematic all of this is.
Yeah.
And, my heart is breaking right now for what.
And this is why I wanted to go into the history, because of the whole curse situation and how it was taken and given, and now it's our big national park, but how it came to be, not the greatest story.
Not the greatest story.
No.
Yeah.
And just a quick note, just because I should throw this in there. Even though Captain Bowling arrived with this battalion there, that was kind of the other claim was that this Jim Savage was the commander of the Mariposa Battalion. He claims he was the first non-indigenous person to set foot and find Yosemite. So there are some controversial ideas of how Yosemite came about, but it's very. The whole concept is basically they were shoved
it's
out
still the story. It doesn't matter who founded it. It's still, we're going to remove the native people so that I can claim this place as my own.
Exactly, which is all of America.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. But in summary, Tenaya Canyon got off to a bad start in recorded history. And the curse seemed confirmed during John Muir's exploration of the canyon described in Chapter 2 of Steep Trails. Okay.
Yes.
Setting out to venture up into Tenaya Canyon from the valley, they called him an intrepid mountain goat of a man. He's huge.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
He fell for the first time since he touched foot in the Sierra Rocks. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. So he describes how he was knocked unconscious and only saved from a life-threatening continuation of the fall by being wedged among short, stiff bushes. And then,
wow.
Yeah. So recovering from his fall, he spent the next few days ascending the inner gorge and eventually, quote unquote, escaping from the gorge about noon after accomplishing some of the most delicate feats of mountaineering I ever attempted.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So have you been on any parts of the John Muir Trail?
No.
It goes all over.
Is it like a switchback trail or is it just?
Well, it goes all over the Sierra Nevadas. It's everywhere. So you can take it up the Whitney Portal and it can take you all the way into Yosemite. It's everywhere.
That's crazy.
It's huge. It's insane that he did all
of that.
So just the fact that he can traverse those mountains before we even tried to make it
when it was wild.
Trail. When it was wild.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I would be so terrified. I mean, even the well manicured trails that I get to walk on, and we have a bunch where we live here. We're fortunate enough to live in an area where we butt up against a lot of natural trails. There's a lot of preserved land around, a lot of hiking trails.
Yeah.
And they're very well worn and well walked and nice and wide. And I still get nervous walking on those. So I can't even imagine going up in the mountainside,
where
making your own trail and having the guts or the balls enough to do that. I couldn't do it. That's crazy.
Yeah. So he did it. He did the thing, and because he could. I think he had the stamina and the endurance, and he was built that way to do it. Right?
That's insane. I can't imagine that.
Yeah. So he thinks there was kind of situations with curses on that because he was able to hike everywhere, and then he comes upon this mountain range and he automatically just slips and falls.
I love it. He's blaming his little moment of clumsiness on a curse. That's awesome.
Oh man. But if you go into the Tenaya Canyon unprepared, you might have to be rescued by the Park Service because the standard guide map is marked in red.
Yes.
Hiking in Tenaya Canyon is dangerous and strongly discouraged.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So park rangers refer it to the Bermuda Triangle of Yosemite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there you go. Don't go up there if you don't feel like getting into that.
Oh, it is cursed.
Yep. There you go.
Wow. John Muir was right.
He was right. All right. Now, roughly 233 search and rescue missions were executed in Yosemite National Park, and that was by 2017. So who knows what the number is now?
Yeah.
I couldn't find that, and up-to-date number. So even though there are, 4 million people coming in and out, that is a huge number, and it is a vastly smaller number of search and rescues, but there is still there.
Yeah.
Now, I can't get into missing people in national parks, let alone Yosemite National Park, without stating most of my info comes from David Paulides. David Paulides is a former police officer and was so for 20 years. He worked with SWAT, Patrol, Street Crimes Unit, and other assignments as a detective. Now, after leaving law enforcement, he was known to write books about Bigfoot. Yeah. But after
I
this,
love Bigfoot.
yeah, we'll probably have a whole podcast about that.
Yes.
But after this, he did a lot of research and work for his well-known project, Missing 411, and it's a series of books and films regarding unsolved cases of people who have gone missing mainly in national parks.
Oh, wow.
But eventually brought into around the world. You got to check out his movies, though, because I did watch these a few years ago, and then I did some more research with YouTube. They're really fascinating. And then there's this YouTube video covering my next topic, and he states and reiterates, national parks are not playgrounds.
Yes.
They are not playgrounds, everybody.
Yes.
Do not let your kids go in front of you like miles ahead. Oh, I'm exaggerating, but don't let them play around because it's scary. It's not easy.
National parks are wild.
Yes.
And there's a lot of wildlife.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rough terrain. There's a lot of slippery rocks, especially, I'm sure you're going to talk about this, but in Yosemite, the granite is so slippery, especially when it's wet.
I will not talk about that, but that is a good point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of missing, or not necessarily missing people, but a lot of deaths in Yosemite happen with people slipping on the rocks and falling into the snow melt water, and they can't get to them for months because the water is raging so much they can't get to them or find them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So be careful.
Yeah.
Don't climb around on the slippery rocks.
Keep an eye on your kids, everybody.
But yeah, so national parks are beautiful, wild places. That's the point. So you have to keep that in mind and always be vigilant. Have your bear spray if you're in a park that has bears, like in California.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you're saying, national parks, you can't hunt in. So the wild animals are free and wild.
Yes.
All right. First case.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Paulides claims this case started as research for the Missing 411, and it's the disappearance of Stacy Ann Arris, born September 29th, 1966. Okay. Stacy Arris grew up in Saratoga, California. On July 17th, 1981, 14-year-old Stacy Ann Arris went camping with her father and 6 other people at Yosemite. They had booked a horse riding trip with the contractor of the NPS, the National Park Services, to ride into the High Sierra camps. There are 10 people riding in the group, so there's a group plus the wrangler and the guide.
Right.
They stopped at a place called Cathedral Lakes to have lunch and finally arrived at their camp. Once they settled into the camp, Stacy left with 71-year-old Gerald Stewart to take photos with her small Olympus camera.
Okay.
So they had to take a quick break above the Sunrise Lakes, and Chris Grimes, the wrangler, watched her walk off while Gerald needed the rest. He had to stop.
Because he's 71.
He's 71. That's tough. I mean, he's already tough doing it, getting up into this hike, so he had to take a break.
Why didn't she take somebody younger with her up there that had fresher legs?
I think he was the only one that wanted to go with her at that point. It was a break. So it was a quick kind of thing, yeah. So Stacy walked down the hillside and around the lake just to take photos, and she was going to head right back. But she never returned. Yeah, once everyone realized she had not come back for some time, they followed her trail to look for her, and all they could find was her lens cap.
Wow.
After no prevail of finding her, they called the National Park Service, and they got there really quick. And so on that first search, they just did really quickly. They kind of looked around the area, but then they did a massive search.
Yeah.
So a total of 57 hours of helicopter investigation logged, 9 days of formal searching, 150 people that included 67 Mountain Rescue Association volunteers, tracking dogs, and support search and rescue groups. They did not find anything.
Wow.
Anything. Okay. So here's a couple things about this. There was no blood.
Wow.
So if it wasn't an animal attack, right, they would have found blood, ripped clothing, animal tracks, something.
Yes.
But they could not find any, you can't find any fatalities in Yosemite due to animal attacks. That's just the research. No one's claimed any animals have attacked anybody. There
Right.
have been some bear injuries, some squirrel bites.
Oh, squirrel bites.
Squirrel bites and mountain lion sightings are actually really rare. So they ruled that out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Abduction, that was an option.
Yes.
But it's really hard to get in and out of this area of where they were in Yosemite and so quickly and quietly because
Right.
she wasn't gone for more than a few hours.
Right.
So where could they have hidden it if her body, or where could they have hidden if that extensive research for 9 days?
Yes.
Where would he have gone, or she, or if they tried to abduct somebody? The other theory was she ran away. But why would you do this in a place with no provisions? Like she had no food or water on
Right.
her?
That would make no sense.
Yeah.
That's not good
She
planning.
just had a camera. Yeah. Just a camera, just to go take photos.
Wouldn't
Why?
it be amazing if her camera turned up?
That
at
I
some
would
point?
have hoped for that, right?
Yeah.
I would have hoped for that, but no, her camera never turned up. It's her and her camera.
My brain is spinning. Like, where did she go?
Where did she go? The camera lens was the only thing found,
Wow.
right?
And so she was by a bunch of lakes. Yes.
Yes.
Maybe one of the.
They dredged the lake. They looked everywhere.
I was gonna say maybe one of the nicks in the lake.
The water.
Yes. Maybe she was skimming rocks in the water.
Oh, and
and
they
they
were like,
came out
"Nope,
and got
don't
her.
do it."
Oh, yes, because the water nicks needed a girl.
They
so,
did.
Yes.
Oh. It's related
It
to the
all
German one.
ties back, people.
Oh my
It all
gosh.
ties back. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But not to make fun. Yeah. It's
no,
scary.
no. This is scary and sad and,
Yeah.
and just insane. Where did she go?
Where did she go? So this is why David Paulides started to do research. How did she just up and disappear
Yes.
without natural causes?
That's
right.
fascinating.
So when he started the investigation of her disappearance, he did contact the National Park Services for a case, but he was denied.
Oh,
Yeah, and he was able to retrieve many other missing cases. Because it's a missing case, you're supposed to be able, it's open.
Yes.
Because it's not a homicide. It's not
No.
declared a homicide.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they denied his request because, quote unquote, it's an open case.
okay.
No suspects, not a criminal case file, and nobody had looked in her file for 20 years.
Oh my god.
But he still was denied. And this is where it was kind of confusing when I was doing my research.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, since he wasn't able to retrieve the case file, but apparently it is 2,000 pages long.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
2,000 pages of we can't find this girl.
Mm-hmm. And he can't access the file.
They're hiding something.
That's what he thinks.
Yeah.
But we never know. We don't know.
It's
So-
aliens.
That's what I was thinking. I mean,
Or okay, I don't know if you're going to get to this later,
okay.
but there are a lot of reported cases of skinwalkers
Oh, in
In-
Yosemite?
in Yosemite. Yes.
Did not know that.
Yes.
Oh, that's creepy.
There's skinwalkers and reported cases of Bigfoot.
But there, and I'll probably touch upon this later. What if it was a time slip? Like, what if she walked into some kind of a wormhole?
There's portals.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway,
Ooh,
that's
you
my
guys.
my
I got
reach.
tingly. I'm excited. Okay.
That's my reach. But anyway, okay.
Wow.
That is the first missing case that we just don't know anything about, unfortunately. Now, the second case, and I'm going to jump around in time a little bit, but we're jumping to August 2000 now. 49-year-old Ruth Ann Rupert from South Daytona, Florida. She traveled to Yosemite for a strenuous 30-mile backcountry backpacking trip. Now, Ruth Ann's sister labeled her as a driven, determined outdoorswoman.
Well, yeah, that if you're going to go
If
for
you're
a
gonna do
strenuous
that.
like 40-mile hike, yeah.
And here's an example. She had scaled Mount Kilimanjaro despite a frozen foot. And
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a badass.
yes, exactly. She can do this. And she had made a couple trips to Yosemite where she climbed Half Dome more than once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Now, on the morning of the backpacking trip, Rupert developed a serious eye infection that required medical attention. Since she couldn't go on the excursion, she decided to visit Curry Village and booked a tent cabin for a
Village.
couple days.
Okay.
Yes, we talked about Curry Village together, right?
Yes, we've
Okay.
talked about Curry Village.
Yeah, it's going to come back another time. That's the crazy part.
Okay.
But however, there is no evidence of her staying in the cabin.
Oh.
Yeah, so she booked it, right? But she didn't sleep there. On August 14th, she was last heard of her wanting to travel from Yosemite Falls to the forest area of the park, and poof, she was gone.
Oh,
So park spokesman Mark Stevens said she met another hiker and discussed trails in the Indian Canyon.
mm-hmm.
They did a search of the Snow Creek Trail, but they found no trace of her. Her relatives don't think she would commit suicide or leave everything behind, since she just wasn't the type to do this.
Right.
Now, since she had an eye infection and didn't know this till later, she had a prosthetic eye in her other eye.
Oh,
Yeah. Another theory is that she just couldn't see well, so she fell or got stuck.
oh my gosh. I wouldn't categorize that as being a badass if you can't see and
Yes.
you're like, let's go hiking
Let's
anyway.
go hiking. That's
No,
kind
no,
of...
no, no, no. You rest and you get well.
Yeah.
It's okay.
She wanted to push herself.
Yeah.
I get that, though. I'm in that category of I can do anything. I'm going to do this, but
Yeah. And she's not local. She was from
No.
Florida.
Yes.
Yosemite is incredibly popular, as we've discussed. Right now, they do have a reservation system. They didn't in
That's right.
2000, but you have to reserve your time to go there now.
and you'll have to reserve way in advance. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah, so I'm sure that she was like, okay, this is my time to be here. This is my time to go, and I'm just going to do it anyway.
Might as well
And-
enjoy myself if I can, since
Yeah,
I'm here. Yeah.
and screw my not being able to see.
yeah.
Oh,
Now, in 2008, 8 years after her disappearance, her backpack was found in the Fireplace Creek drainage area.
Ooh.
And that area was consistent with the route she was looking at, but 8 miles away from Curry Village.
Oh,
So they couldn't find what kind of manpower what kind of manpower was used to search for her, but she is listed in the cold cases website of mps.gov.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Third case. This was actually a few months before her disappearance.
Oh, okay.
Kieran Burke. So April 2000, 44-year-old Kieran Burke from Rathfarnham. I looked that up.
Rathfarnham. Where's
Rathfarnham
that?
in Dublin, Ireland.
Okay.
He's international. So he took a solo vacation to San Francisco, planning to stay for just 2 weeks. He drove a rental car to Curry Village.
Oh, Curry Village.
Curry Village. In
Something's
Yosemite
going
Valley.
on in Curry Village, people.
I agree. So yeah, he took the car to Curry Village and reserved a tent for April 4th through 6th. When he was supposed to check out on the April 6th, to no avail, the park staff notified authorities and they found his tent still held his possessions. He was last seen on April 5th. Now,
Oh.
Kieran Burke was known to be an avid hiker and photographer who had previously hiked in the Himalayas.
Oh,
See more
okay.
hikers that
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
they're experienced hikers.
Yeah.
They have killed a bunch of mountains, so they have that experience of
They know what to
mountaineering.
expect. Yeah.
Mhm.
And apparently on April 5th, he left Curry Village to have himself a day hike. When authorities were aware of his disappearance, search and rescue workers searched for weeks, as well as his brother had flown in to help find him.
Oh,
However, the search did not start really until April 11th, 6 days after he was last seen, because storms later in the week brought snow and rain.
yes. It snows there in April, people.
Yeah.
It does. And when it snows and when it rains, a lot of places can flood. And it's tough to get around in Yosemite that way. Oh, wow.
So that, I had to put this one in because it was a very similar case to Ruth Ann,
Yeah. And you said they were
both in
Just
Curry Village.
both in Curry Village and months apart.
Months apart. He was in April, she was in August.
Oh, wow.
And they both disappeared under weird circumstances.
Yeah, from Curry Village.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, this one with the weather,
Were they hiking in the same area?
it didn't say.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. But the weather for Kieran I think might have an impact to why he disappeared. I could see that. But you don't know. I don't know. That's just my theory.
Yeah.
The last missing case I've got.
Okay.
June 17th, 2011. 30-year-old George Penka from Hawthorne, California, took a trip to Yosemite National Park with this church group of 80 people. Okay.
Oh, big group.
Big group.
Okay.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
20 of them went on a hike on the Upper Yosemite Fall Trail. Okay. This trail is hard.
Yeah, it is not for an hour. You need to be an
You
experienced
need
hiker.
experience. This is not for a quick trip.
It's not for the
For the
little
church
church
group.
group.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do Bridal Veil with the church group. Nice little hike.
Quick one.
Yeah.
No,
And
this
it's
is
a
insane.
beautiful falls. But Upper Yosemite Falls,
Yeah. Upper.
oh, lower is even okay for,
Right.
but if you go all the way
All the way
up, You guys, it's steep, it's tricky, it's slippery.
Yes. Let me
It's
get
tough.
to what
Okay.
the specifics of why this trail is really hard.
Yes.
7.6 mile, heavily trafficked out and back trail. Okay. The elevation gain of 3,218 feet.
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
steep, y'all. Holy cow.
Yeah. It is no joke.
I'm thinking about my watch and how like my elevation when I just take walks. I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy because I have a lot of hills where I live.
Yeah.
3,000 feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's intense. Okay.
Yes.
Now the group did make it to the top. They made it.
Wow.
But
Good
after
for
a
them.
while, the group started back down at their own pace. Okay. So they're
So they didn't stick together.
nope. No, they left people behind, y'all.
People.
And I'm
You
saying y'all
gotta
because I
stick
get that
I
from
know.
Angela.
She's picking up my Southern there, y'all.
George never arrives back down the trail.
George.
And at
no.
9 p.m. that day, he was reported missing. Down is easier than up.
Well,
But slippery that you said, though.
yeah. I mean, down is slippery. That's where you're going to slide.
Yeah.
So
Now-
you have to be careful.
You have to be careful.
And people start getting careless, especially going down.
True.
Because they're like, oh, this
I got
isn't as
this.
strenuous. I got this. But no, it is even more strenuous
Yeah.
to go down. It's harder.
It is much. I think it's harder when I
Yeah.
think about going. I'm like, I'm petrified actually going down versus up.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because you
slip.
slide.
Yeah.
You slide.
Don't like that. Okay, so you'd think that going down, you might have fallen down something and we could find them. But 12 helicopters were contracted by MPS to search the upper Yosemite Falls area.
Uh-huh.
Dispatched 105 different search and rescue personnel and 6 canines over 7 days.
Oh my gosh. And I want to say one more thing about this trail. Even though it is strenuous, it is very heavily trafficked. Like
That's what they're saying.
people are
They're all over, right?
They're all over it. And you're constantly running into people. You are not alone on this trail. So even though they spread out and got separated, there were other hikers.
Yeah, they would have seen something.
Yes.
Someone would have seen something.
Yes. And especially then, unless they closed the trail for.
But that they didn't say that.
Yeah.
Nothing was closed.
Wow. Okay.
So the canines couldn't
Yes.
even locate any kind of scent where George was last seen.
Wow.
It's gone. Nothing was found then or in the last 11 years of George.
Oh my gosh. Where did George go?
Where did he go? Especially in an area that's heavily trafficked.
And they found nothing.
They couldn't find anything. Even the dogs couldn't find a scent of him.
Yes.
That's
And
scary.
also the trails are very well maintained in Yosemite. Even though they're treacherous, they're still well maintained. And so unless he just decided to go off trail.
Wormhole. Just
It's
kidding.
the wormhole.
But yeah, I mean, how do you explain something like that when you're around so many other people, right? And I mean, it was a group of 20. They did disperse, but I'm sure he was with one or two other, and no one knows. No one knows. They couldn't get anything out of anybody. They didn't see him.
Wow.
Like he just vanished, like something from the air just plucked him out.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys, I have like goosebumps everywhere.
Be careful when you go to Yosemite, Angela.
I'm going to get snatched.
No!
That's right.
Don't
That's what
walk
you
into
said.
a wormhole.
No, I won't.
Don't walk. Don't venture.
I will stay with
Keep
people.
on the trails.
I will
Always
stay on
tell
the trail.
people where you're going.
Yes.
Keep your phone on with you at all times.
Yes.
please.
Track me with my GPS.
It's not like Aokigahara where it's gonna
Yes.
can't act it where
Yes,
can't find
your phones work there.
But those are my four missing cases that I could find that with the disappearance being just so random,
Yes.
so creepy, and the way that no one could find them even with this manhunt power, like nothing could be found of these. And I know Yosemite's big, but they know where they were, like in
Yes.
like smaller locations. I mean, they didn't like pick up and go to a different state. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Yosemite's big, but it is well trafficked and it is
Yeah.
well maintained. And so it's just amazing that people are they can just disappear like that.
Right. So, if anything ever comes up about these cases, we'll definitely keep you updated. But those are 4
Yes.
missing cases of Yosemite. Now, quick creepy ghost story.
Okay.
Because you can't leave Yosemite without having a little bit of a campfire ghost story.
Yes.
Okay. This comes from Andrea Langford's book, Haunted Hikes, Spine-Tingling Tales and Trails from North America's National Parks.
Okay.
Okay. Galen Clark. He was Yosemite's first park ranger.
Yes.
You heard about him?
Yes.
Look at you. You know some history about Yosemite.
Do.
Yeah.
I want to know what I'm walking into when I go.
Smart. Did some research. Now, he took a hike to Grouse Lake in 1857.
Yes.
While taking a quick break by the shore of the lake, he heard a distinct wailing cry, somewhat like a puppy when lost. He thought it was a dog that the Indians had left behind. That night, Clark joined a band of Indians at their hunting camp and asked about the sound he had heard. And this is what they told him. It was not a dog. That a long time ago, an Indian boy had been drowned in the lake, and that every time anyone passed there, he always cried after them, and no one dared go into the lake, for the boy would catch them by the legs and pull them down, and they would be drowned.
So we have an Indian boy spirit in this lake.
Yes.
Yes.
So you hear that wailing, do not go anywhere near the lake.
Yes.
It's like La Llorona.
Yes, it is. So we have these water spirits everywhere. There's more water spirits in Yosemite too, in the falls. Yes.
I didn't know this.
Yes. So it's an Indian legend of, and I think they're said to haunt Bridal Veil. And if I'm remembering the story correctly, you guys, I'm going to make tons of mistakes in the story because I'm just pulling it out of my head from when I heard it. But there were some Native American women that were at the top of the falls gathering some plants or flowers or something. And then one of them felt a breath move across her and she fell in.
Oh, no.
And died.
Ugh.
And so now there's a spirit that will breathe on you and push you into the falls.
If you're close to
you're too close to the
Oh
falls.
my
So you have
gosh.
to be careful. Stay away from the falls. Otherwise,
you'll get pushed in.
the Indian spirit will breathe on you, and it has a name, and I can't remember what the name is, but
That's okay.
so you have to be careful around the
That's
falls.
so scary.
Yes, and also in Curry Village, there's a ghost. Do you know that?
No, see, this is what we talked about, the Curry Village.
Yes.
And this ties in.
So in the parking lot, you can see a man hanging. Yes, he's an apparition that shows up. I want to say he shows up around like 11 p.m.
What?
But people have seen this apparition of this man hanging.
Do we know
in the
any
parking lot.
backstory of why he's hanging?
I don't know off the top of my head. I wish I
We'll
did,
have to
but
do
I
some
know
research.
that. Yes, we'll do more Yosemite.
You're going to go to Yosemite, so.
I know.
Are you going to go to Curry Village?
Probably not at night. I don't think we're staying anywhere near Curry Village.
Okay.
I really want to go and see if I can see the ghost.
Go at night.
I want to go. Yeah.
You're going to take your whole family? Is it just going to be you?
Oh, no, I'm not going anywhere by myself. You just warned me. If you go by yourself, you're going to get snatched.
That's true. You can't leave alone.
I can't go by myself. I need
Oh
somebody
my
with me at all
gosh.
times. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I did not know that. I knew we mentioned something creepy about Curry Village, and that's what we were talking a few weeks ago, maybe, but
Yes.
that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to go visit Curry Village.
So, lessons that we learned today from Miss Nicole.
Yes. Never. We did this lesson. This is a reiteration.
I know, but it's good. You need to reiterate these lessons.
Never go into the woods alone.
Yes. Don't go into the woods alone. Stay on the
Stay
path
on the trail.
and make sure that you always have don't go anywhere by yourself.
right.
You need a hiker with you.
Yes. Keep your phone on you.
Keep your phone
now
on
that
you.
we have electronics. I mean, but even Stacey Ann had her camera and that disappeared with her.
Yeah. So I guess your electronics will go with you
All
when
right.
you
So
step
just-
into the wormhole.
Basically, go with somebody everywhere at all times.
Keep a buddy with you and stay on the path.
Okay, you ready to review movie?
It's movie time, people. We're still dancing.
Dancing. Okay,
What movie did we watch today?
we watched The Ring.
The Ring.
I wanted to go back a little bit, not too old school, but older than what we were watching with our 2010s.
Yeah, we're back in the
20s.
90s, y'all.
No, we're not.
Oh, was this 2000s?
It feels like it because
With the low-rise jeans and
yes,
the
because
polo shirts that
it
a
was
little bit
the transition from the 90s. Okay,
short.
so
Yes, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like 2002.
yes,
Oh,
the
yeah,
ring
see-
was released in 2002.
It felt very
It
2002.
did, didn't it? It
Yeah.
was that cusp. I agree. So so the ring
With the velour pants that she wore.
all the time.
Yeah.
It was the style.
The
all the
low-rise
fashion.
velour
It
pants.
was amazing. So 7.1 stars on IMDb. You know, on my notes I put starts. Okay. 7.1 stars on IMDb. Okay. And the synopsis. A journalist must investigate a mysterious videotape which seems to cause the death of anyone 1 week to the day after they view it. Now,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
I'm so excited because I want to give you the background before we dive in and give our
Okay.
like
Okay.
discrepancies of the movie, okay? Because there are some things that I'm sure you want to tell me, which I think are awesome. Anyway, the background to the ring. I found this and I was so amazed because I wish I knew this before, okay? It was a remake of a Japanese movie, the Ringu.
Yes.
But did you know that was actually based, I mean, it was also based on a novel, but it was based on an old Japanese ghost story.
Really?
Yes. And I wish we
Oh.
talked about this last episode because it ties in with everything. Now, Himeji Castle.
Himeji Castle.
Himeji Castle.
Okay.
I've been to Himeji Castle.
You have?
I have, and I did not know it was haunted. And if I
Oh.
knew this when I went, I would have looked for this.
You would have peed your
area.
pants.
I would have peed my pants, but I would have been so excited too. Okay.
Yes.
Excited peeing pants. Okay. Now, Himeji Castle is Japan's largest castle, and it was built between 1333 and 1346 AD.
Okay.
The story goes, a samurai named Tasan Aoyama lived here with his wife at some point, most likely in the 17 to 1800s.
Okay.
Aoyama had a servant named Okiku, who worked in one of the dungeons.
Oh.
Yeah. One of her duties, though, included guarding these very expensive 10 Dutch golden plates that Aoyama's wife had purchased. Aoyama soon fell in love with Okiku and asked her to be his mistress.
Oh, no.
And that he would leave his wife for her.
What? Oh, that's a load of horse
Right?
hooey.
Censoring it, PG.
Yeah.
Now, she turned him down, and it made him extremely frustrated.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes.
Because he's like the lord of the castle. He can
Kinda.
have whatever he
Well,
wants.
he's not the lord. He's a samurai that lived there.
the samurai,
I thought he was
okay.
a lord that lived there too. I thought he
No, but
owned
he's
it.
just a samurai
He's
that
a
lives
samurai
there.
that lived in the castle.
But still, male
guy.
privilege. He thinks he
Big,
can
yes.
get whatever he wants.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
and okay, note his character. This is also what was crazy. His character was so shitty that apparently he was plotting to kill the head of the Himeji Castle at the same time. That's how like
gosh.
shitty he is.
Oh
okay?
my gosh.
Now, not one to be refused, he hatched a plan.
Of course he did.
Aoyama hid one of the 10 golden plates that Okiku had to guard.
Oh, what a jerk.
Yes. So Okiku noticed this and freaked out that there were not 10 plates. Aoyama saw this, and then he told Okiku that if she did not agree to be his mistress, he would blame her for the missing plate, which basically meant torture and death.
Oh my gosh.
But Okiku,
Yes. Hopefully she's a smart cookie.
she didn't want anything to do with Aoyama still. She was like, nope, I don't care. I will die before.
Oh, he is that repulsive
Yes,
that
he's
she's
that
choosing
terrible.
death.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
So knowing she
Go,
would-
girl.
Yeah. Well, knowing she would face an execution and death, she instead chose to dive into the well in the castle courtyard.
Oh, she's the girl in the well.
You see it?
Okay.
So afterwards, Aoyama still kept the plate hidden to blame Okiku rather than admitting the truth to her suicide. Now, Okiku became what's called a yurimi.
Yurimi.
And this type of ghost is a spirit of someone who died in sudden or rash circumstances characterized by pitch black hair, a white dress, and dismembered or missing hands and feet.
Ooh.
So this is why I wish we covered this last episode. There's yurei
yes, the yure.
and yurimi.
Yurimi.
Yeah. Now, every night, Okiku's Yurimi would climb out of the well
Uh-huh.
and check on the golden plates.
Oh, wow.
Every time she counted only 9, not 10, she would wail unnaturally. Every night.
Oh, wow.
Aoyama still did not put the plate back. And the Yurimi would continue to do this every night until it drove Aoyama insane.
Well, put the stupid plate
Yeah,
back.
well, he's so proud of himself.
Oh, my gosh.
And stupid, apparently.
Yeah.
He was thrown out of the castle because he went insane.
Good.
And in turn, though, ironically, it saved the castle's master from an assassination.
Yeah.
So her Yurimi saved the head of the castle.
Good.
Now, apparently, the haunting of the Yurimi continues to this day.
Really?
Yes. Though not as frequently
Okay.
as she visited when Aoyama lived there. Okay. The fear of her haunting the castle is so real that they placed a large covering over the well to keep her from escaping.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so when we go to Japan to help the Yurei cross over,
And
we
the
will have to.
Okigahara.
Yes,
yeah,
we have to go to the castle
Yes.
now and visit the well.
and visit the well. I wish I knew that. I would have gone to the well.
I
Now,
The power of research, baby. This is
no,
exciting.
it's insane. Now, many other versions, I just wanted to throw this in there. This is the closest to the original, but another version is that the wife found out and blamed Okiku for the missing plate, so she was tortured, executed, then thrown down the well.
Oh,
So either way, she ended up in the well.
either way, the women who are saying no and standing up for themselves wind up dead, and haunting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Their
my gosh.
spirit cannot move on. Now, 1998 rolls around and Koji Suzuki wrote the novel Ring, or Ringu in Japanese, and it turned into the series of novels. But the first one was the inspiration for the Japanese movie Ringu, which then adapted to The Ring. So
Okay.
that was the story I was so excited to tell you.
That was awesome.
Yes.
She wouldn't tell me the story until we started recording this.
No, it was
so
a
she was so
surprise.
excited.
I was so excited. I mean, because I didn't know that about the movie. Does that make the movie kind of more
It
interesting?
makes me like the movie more. So darn you, Nicole, because I didn't like the movie.
I know. Well, it came out in 2002. Now,
Yes.
imagine you watching it though in 2002.
Okay. I have been terrified to watch this movie for 20 years. I've been terrified to watch it.
And now
I
you
didn't
did.
want to see it when it came out,
Uh-huh.
despite a lot of my friends at the time wanting to see it and going to see it. And, you know, I've seen all the memes about it. I've seen,
I'm sure you've seen photos of everything.
photos. Yeah. So I knew what it was about, and I
Right.
knew but I'd never seen the movie, never wanted to see the movie. My husband was like, that movie's scary. I don't want to see it. And when I told him, I was like, okay, so the movie that we're going to watch this week is The Ring. He was like, no, don't want to do that. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it by myself. And he's like, okay, I'll watch it with you.
He took one for the team.
He did, and he's seen it before. So I was.
He knew what to expect.
He knew what to expect. I
Okay.
was fully prepared to not sleep for days after seeing this movie, and I didn't find it that scary.
Good. I think because of what they used for cinematography and scare effects. For me in 2002, that scared
was
the
scary.
shit out of me.
Yes.
But today
it's
it's totally not as scary. I agree.
Yeah, it wasn't as scary. I found myself being more pissed off at Naomi Watts. Like, she just drove me nuts the whole movie.
I think that's the purpose of her too, in a way.
I don't know what happened to me, but whenever we watch these movies, there's always one person that pisses me off, and
because we're old, we're parents. We
I'm
can't.
like, use your head.
You're not smart.
Yeah, if this video killed your niece,
Mm-hmm.
why are you watching it?
She's a journalist. She has to investigate everything.
No, she doesn't.
That's how I think her brain is. She's like, I need to figure out. And her sister asked her to figure out her death.
Well,
didn't
that
she?
doesn't mean she has to watch the
Yeah.
videotape.
Well,
I mean,
she
I
didn't
understand
think
there
she
wouldn't
was
be a
gonna-
movie if she didn't watch the videotape.
I mean, if you saw her deadbeat dad, that's another theme.
Ugh, yes.
He was so skeptical, and I get it, and that's what I would have been. I'd be like, I'm gonna watch this video. Why do you think it's gonna happen to me? I probably would have done the same thing.
No, I wouldn't have. It's the same principle of, like, if a door is boarded up, you don't go in the basement. You
That's
leave
true.
it alone.
Now here's a good question.
Yes.
What if you watched half of it? Would you die in 14 days?
You die in 14 days, or you slip into a coma.
Yeah.
I
you don't
know.
die.
I don't know.
Isn't that interesting? If you pause the movie, can you pause it? I wonder if you couldn't. I bet if you start it,
It
will probably
just
keep
goes.
going.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my hypothetical question for the day.
Yeah. I
Um,
thought, okay. So I knew that there was a creepy kid and I knew there was a ring girl. And so her son was probably the scariest thing in the movie because kids don't act like that. I don't care what decade you're in. I don't know a kid that is like, well, first of all, he calls his mom by her name, Rachel. That was creepy.
Yeah. Who does that?
And then he makes his own lunch. He gets ready to go to school by himself. He's very independent. I'm like, no, that's scary. You need to be a kid. Don't be the adult. You're not the adult.
Well, and that their housing situation, or
They have a
family
very
relationship.
dysfunctional family. Yes.
And that was a tragic. And it
That was very tragic.
it takes place in my hometown,
Yes, it does. Seattle.
and it made it so gloomy. I laughed so hard. I don't think they filmed in Seattle the whole time. Matt and I watched
Probably
it together.
Toronto. That's where
What we were thinking. We were thinking Canada. But there were scenes that were like, oh, there's the metro bus. We're like, oh, that is the Seattle bus, and that is Seattle. But then, it goes off into scenery, and you're like, no, that's not Seattle anymore.
Yeah.
But they made it so gloomy and gray. And I was like, okay, yeah, it is a lot of the time like that. But they just over exaggerated it.
Yes.
It's not that bad, people.
Every time I've gone to Seattle, because my sister lives up there, and every time I love it.
It's pretty.
It's
right.
gorgeous.
But I think they did that to the backdrop of how scary and moody this movie is going to be.
Yes.
But it really
with all the
isn't that
dead
bad.
horses.
Oh yeah. So you're jumping in my notes.
Oh.
Okay. These poor horses. Is it sad that we feel bad more for the animals that die in horror movies than the people?
No, because the animals don't have a choice.
They're so innocent.
The people chose to watch the stupid film and get themselves involved. These horses were innocent.
It was sad. That horse scene was pretty creepy though, when she's on the boat.
Yeah.
And she's.
Oh.
Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I was so mad. I think I texted you at that point. I was like, just leave the horse alone.
Yes.
He doesn't
He
like
doesn't want you to talk to him.
Back away.
Yeah.
Stop trying
She
to
kept
quote unquote help.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Yeah.
He'll calm down.
Isn't that funny?
She keeps sticking her nose into things where she doesn't belong. And she's very brazen about it too. Like she feels like she's entitled to get whatever information that she wants from whoever it is that she's attacking. It's like,
that's her character though. That's her character written, I think.
That drove me nuts.
What did your husband say about what the little boy looked like?
Oh,
we couldn't stop laughing when she texted me this, everybody.
Pete Davidson, right?
And when I said that to my husband, we looked at him like, oh my gosh,
that's Pete Davidson as a
just
kid.
like him as a kid. And he couldn't see it. He couldn't stop seeing it. It was hilarious. But it really looked just like him.
Yeah, my husband likes to make me laugh whenever we're watching something that's intense or scary. Yeah.
Oh, that's good for me. Because again, 2002 versus 2022, I get it. But the images of the dead girl whenever someone died from watching the video.
Oh yeah,
wasn't that creepy? Like,
yeah,
the
that was
closet
creepy.
girl. Like, holy crap.
Yes, the way their faces were frozen and distorted.
Yeah.
That's...
So online, someone's theory of why people die, like how they die, they think it's she puts the video into their brain so fast and so like quick that it makes their brain fry. And it gives them the heart attack. And it's just so much to process. That was just a theory.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they really died.
I mean, I was going to say, they literally died of fright.
Yeah.
So why is the little girl like that? Did they never?
Okay.
Yeah.
No one explains. Okay. So there is a series. So there are more that deep dive into her background.
Yeah.
Samara, right?
Samara, yes.
They go into her background more of how she was born. Okay. So the story I found online, a priest fell in love with a woman and locked her up and raped her.
Oh.
And she had a baby, and that was Samara.
Okay.
So that's kind of
she came out of like a
terrible situation.
Terrible situation. So the devil was kind of born into her.
Yeah.
So she has to
she
make
has powers,
everything.
and she doesn't know how to control them, as you saw in the movie. And then the other rings kind of go into it. So
okay.
But that's all I got. I did not I don't know for sure. Did you like the fold ending?
The
though?
false ending. I knew it was coming.
Did you?
Yeah. Well,
It was so
because it
so
was
serene at the
everything
end.
was so happy. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're a happy family again. The kid is like, oh, you're my dad. Come
Right.
be my dad. And he's like, okay, I guess I can be a dad
Sure.
now. Sure. And they
I'll
were all
call
like
you.
happy and everybody's all back together. And like, Samara's at rest and everything's great. And I'll call you in the morning.
And then
blah,
the little
blah, blah.
boy.
And I'm like, this is way too much of an ending for it to be a real ending. So I knew it was coming.
Okay.
I'm like, they're tying up all of these ends so
quickly.
nicely and
Yeah.
so prettily. I'm like, it would have just ended with her
Finding her in the well.
finding her in the well.
Oh, spoiler.
Oh.
You all know
If you
we're
haven't seen this
spoiling the
20-year-old movie. Well, if you're like me, maybe you haven't, but yeah.
True.
So it would have ended
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
But it kept going and going. I'm like, oh, this is set up for a false ending. And then it's 2002. So of course there's going to be a false ending.
Right.
Because that's the way the
They
horror
like to-
movies went
Yep.
back then.
True.
So
The little boy, why did you do that? What was this quote? He's like, why did you let her?
yeah, why did you
free her? or
why
something?
did you free her?
Yeah.
She needed to stay in the well or something like that. And it's
Ah.
like, oh, okay, now stuff is going to go down.
That was creep. I think that's the epitome of this movie is the ending when he is in his house or studio
Yeah.
and she comes out of the well.
It should have ended there.
Yeah.
Because that would have made it. I mean, they gave you a resolution to it.
You need to figure out why though, I think. And she's like, why did he die and I didn't? You're like, okay.
I made a copy.
Yeah.
That's the secret, people. Sorry, more spoilers. Make a copy.
You make a copy so that everybody else could see her craziness.
What if you're the last person, you can't make another copy?
Then you're dead.
Oh no.
You're the one.
But I was worried about her son. After her son watched it,
Yeah.
that's what I cared about, is what
Aw,
happens
you're
to him.
such a
I
good
didn't care about
mom.
the parents because they made their choices.
Right?
Yeah.
They made their bed.
Yeah, they made their bed. She kept copies of the tape lying around where he could just pop one in.
Yep.
That was not good parenting.
Terrible.
She shouldn't have
She
won parent
wasn't a
of the,
good- well,
the year either anyway,
I
but
think that was the whole movie set up too, though.
none of them were good parents.
Nope.
Nobody was a good parent.
Nope.
Oh,
And Dad's excuse for not being around. Come on.
yeah. He's like, I'm too young.
be a better
blah, blah, blah."
dad.
Yeah.
Be a better dad.
Kids scare me.
You know, okay, so my last remark on this movie.
Yes.
Have you ever watched the Scary Movie series? The
Yes.
ones that make fun of the movies?
Yes.
Scary Movie 3 ruined this movie for me.
Oh.
It ruined it because I kept expecting the jokes to pop up. And the kid, like, in the Scary Movie 3, he's like telling people at the funeral, like, you're gonna die. And like he's telling people because it's like, you know, that running gag. And, and then Anna Faris just is amazing in that movie.
Yes.
So watching The Ring after watching those really just ruined me. It was like, it wasn't that scary anymore. I was expecting
Yeah, because you
so
got to
many
laugh
gags.
about it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The beginning with the two teenagers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, for me, it was really hard to watch because I couldn't stop laughing in my head over watching the Scary Movie
All the
3.
jokes. Yeah. All the
Yeah.
jokes from Scary Movie 3.
So I don't think I'll try. We'll probably watch Paranormal Activity at some point.
I've actually seen that.
Oh
So
my
it would be
gosh.
great to rewatch it.
Rewatch, yeah.
Yes.
But again, the scary movies ruin that because
Yes.
yeah, you get it. So
Yes.
if you've ever watched the Scary Movies, a series, everybody, it's
Once you find humor
Yeah,
in the scary
it's not
movie,
scary
it's not scary anymore. Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately.
It takes away the mystique.
It does. All right, what are your Stitch rating for this? What's your Stitch rating for
So
this
my
movie?
Stitch rating for this is low. I didn't like it. It was meh. It was okay.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of the what is that? The style of cinematography where you're watching gross things like the I mean basically it was the
disturbing.
video. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
You know, I'm not that same extent. The gore movies,
Yeah.
I'm terrible with those. This wasn't very gory, but
It wasn't very gory, but I'm not a fan of those like time lapse where things like decay and
sure.
rot and you see the flies and all this stuff.
yeah.
I'm like meh. And then Naomi Watts, I understand she's a great actress, and I
Yes.
understand it was the way that her character is written, and it was how she portrayed it, and it just
you're
threw
done
me
with her.
off the whole time. I was like, meh.
Oh,
I
that's too
liked
bad.
the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They did great.
Mm-hmm.
The kids were amazing actors, but yeah, it was just meh. Okay for me, so I'd probably give it like a 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna be probably one of your lowest ratings. Huh?
Yeah.
I think I give it a 5. I mean, it was a good concept back in 2002.
Yeah, I'm sure if I watched it back in 2002 and I was
Yeah.
feeling nostalgia for it, it would be a much higher rating.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm
knowing
like,
now
meh.
what it's based off of, I
Yeah.
would
Oh,
rather
that's
watch
exciting.
a movie off of that.
Okay, so I'm going
Right?
I'm going to change my rating
Oh,
because it's
sorry.
got some
Good. You know
historical
the story.
background into
Okay.
it. So it's a 3.5 now.
Oh, okay. Not much more. But that's good. It moved up a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 5 is based off of, at the time, of how that horror movie was presented. It was great. The story behind it, which I wish I knew when I watched it. I'll give it 5 stitches.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks for sticking around, everybody. Just a quick note. Don't forget, if you have any true paranormal, true crime stories that happened to you, please feel free to email them at theominousstitch@gmail.com.
Yes, we want to.
The Ominous Stitch.
Yes, 2 S's, the ominous stitch @gmail.com. We want to hear from you.
Please.
We want to build our community.
Yes.
And we eventually want to do a whole podcast where we're retelling your stories.
Yes.
So that we can feel even closer together and knit our little community
Yeah,
together. Or I
and we
guess
can-
crochet our community together.
I would love that. I would love that so much. And again, I was thinking about this last night. I was like, people are going to forget the. 'Cause we added that. The Ominous Stitch @gmail.com.
Yes.
And check us out on all the things.
On
Instagram,
all of the things. Yes.
Facebook. We'll post photos. I'll post a photo of the well of Himeji Castle.
Nice.
And we'll even post the missing person cases. If it's kind of sad, but
Yes.
I'll post those.
And if you guys have any more information about any of those cases, let us know too, because we'll update the whole community.
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right.
We'll see you, Stitchers.